I don't know if you guys saw this, but Shaq has a new show on Netflix that's coming out.
He does.
And it's been very quietly getting boosted out on social media. Netflix is putting out little teaser videos. And he said something in the most recent teaser video that raised people's eyebrows, not for the reasons you would think. Here's the reason why this is important. Flashback to March. Steph Curry and the Warriors were on TNT. Steph put out a phenomenal performance. Here's what Shaq said about Steph after that game on March 4th.
As the supreme leader of the Big Man Alliance, I demand you fans to start putting Steph Curry in that greatest of all time conversation. Just start putting him in the conversation.
So the conversation of Jordan,
Mike,
LeBron, Kobe.
LeBron, start putting Steph in that conversation.
So that's one. Mm-hmm. The latest Netflix promo video for his new show coming out, Shaq decided to give his list of the 10 greatest players in NBA history. I'll go in order from 10 to 1. Number 10, Dr. J. Number 9, Tim Duncan. Number 8, Hakeem the Dream. Number 7, Larry Bird. Number 6, Wilt the Still. Number 5, Bill Russell. Number 4, Magic Johnson. Number 3, LeBron James. Number 2, Kobe Bryant. Number 1, Michael Jordan.
Somebody's missing from that list.
Why isn't Steph Curry on that list, Rob Parker?
Okay, and this is Exhibit A on why you guys need to stop listening to these athlete podcasts. And seriously, because everything is prisoner of the moment, no research, no being consistent and having – I mean, how in the world could he beat his chest after a great Steph Curry performance, right, on TNT, national television, talking about he should be in the greatest of all time conversation, but he's not in his top 10 list? It's asinine. It's ridiculous. This is what you get over and over and over. Where's the consistency? Where's the research? Stop the knee-jerk reaction? How can we take Shaq seriously when on 1 minute he's talking about how great Steph is and talking about the GOAT, right? When you talk about the GOAT, there's about 2 or 3 people. He said he should be in the GOAT conversation, but he's not, Kelvin, in the top 10 list on Shaq's list? How does that make sense? Guys, stop it. Turn those podcasts off. Put on earmuffs. Stop listening. What are they doing? They're just talking. You know why they have podcasts? I'm going to tell you why. They're extremely bored. They have nothing else to do. That's why they're talking. Because most of it doesn't make sense. Shaq makes absolutely no sense. How? If you were to ask him or call him on, I'm sure he's on the podcast, Rob G. Kelvin. I don't know if he has a co-host or anything. I guarantee you on that show, nobody pushed back or nobody brought up, well, Shaq, didn't you say Steph should be in the GOAT conversation? That's what you need. You need to be pushed. I'm not surprised by this at all.
All right, let me go in here. Listen, we all love Shaq for exactly who Shaq is, but this is what makes me crazy about this. First of all, let's break down a couple of things. Forget Steph Curry. Where was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? How do you not have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the top 10? Did I miss something,
That's
Raji?
how preposterous the
I
list
read
was.
this top 10 list.
That's how preposterous
I
the
read
list
it.
is.
I heard you say it. Did I hear Kareem? Maybe I'll reserve. Maybe How do you not have a list of top 10 and not have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Number one, you're a fellow big man of the Big Man Alliance, and he was the big man for years and years and years. The all-time leader in score until LeBron the last couple of years.
He's probably the greatest basketball player at every level.
He's probably from high school to college to NBA. He has all the MVPs. He is a Laker whom groomed you. You spent time with and taught you in tutelage. How do you leave Kareem off? When he really, in my opinion, you can't go further than 3 without mentioning Kareem.
I agree.
If you
Kareem's
go past
in the
3,
top 3.
I got some issues if you go past 3. Now, maybe you put LeBron, okay, Kobe, okay, get MJ and Kareem got to be in the 3. Okay, that's just mandatory. Now, that's before I even get to a Steph Curry conversation. So I didn't hear Kareem. I'm disappointed in that. Now let's get to the Steph conversation. Shaq is mixing up most fascinating, most entertaining, or greatest shooter, or most electrifying with greatest. He is not even conversation of the greatest of all time. And that's not a knock on him. Because you could argue, if someone said, hey, he was my favorite player to watch, I could completely understand that. He's the greatest shooter I've ever seen. Completely would concur. If you said he was the most electrifying, I'm right there with you. I can understand that. But he's not in the list of greatest of all time. And then if he was, he ain't even on your list, Shaq. So that just shows me you're watching a game on a Thursday on TNT. You see him hit 8 threes in a quarter or something crazy, and you wish you could do that because Shaq wishes he was a guard. He talks about it all the time. And I think it's just an admiration for what he couldn't do. The handles, the crazy layups, the shooting. And I think he admires it so much that it is affecting his real opinion on what GOAT is. Because he knows good and well Steph knows he can't be in the GOAT conversation. And I get mad when people say he's the greatest point guard of all time because he's still not better than Magic. And so that's just crazy, Rob, both of y'all, that he would not – you say he's the GOAT, then he's not on the GOAT list. Kareem ain't on the GOAT list. Shaq, I just love Shaq for who he is, but pure basketball analytics and analysis, I should say, I'm not coming to Shaq for that. And I love Diesel, the DJ, the humor, the philanthropy.
No, but that's not what he's doing here. In this case,
this ain't that.
But in this case, he's giving you his basketball IQ and information and analysis.
I'm mad that Rob G gave it to me.
That's exactly because now
I'm
you're
mad
like
at Rob G.
Because now you're like
ruining
what?
my Wednesday.
Is it really Shaq just made a list of top 10 and Kareem's not on it and he said Steph Curry was one of the all-time greats and he's not on it either. I mean, like none of it makes sense. This is what I'm talking about. Like it's depending on the day and prisoner of the moment and all this kind of crazy stuff. We've heard, Rob G, how many times where we have we shook our heads over the years, right, when these podcasts and people are talking about stuff. I can't remember. There's been a couple other where we just were like, what? They played the game supposedly and told us that we don't know it.
Yeah, there's a few people that do that. They have these moments where you're like, bruh, what are you watching?
Did you hear Gilbert Arenas today? Or see what he said?
Which part? What part?
He called Cat the B word and
said
he's
saw that
built like a B
built
word.
like a B
He's
word.
built like a B,
and talked about
took,
the man's hips.
Really?
Really?
And what's disappointing about that, and I mean this sincerely, Gil is hilarious. He has his moments, but what's disappointing about that is
that's terrible.
I just got done watching the Shooting Guard documentary. Did you guys see that or know about what it's about? It's
I saw it.
The gun issues, yeah. And he talks about how he felt bad, because maybe he played a role in the downfall of Crittenton with the whole gun charge, who then will go off and murder a young lady. And I know he's just being funny, but dude, like, coming from you, Karl Anthony Towns already has to deal with this from everybody. Open up his phone, first thing he's going to see all the time. But then from a guy who played the game, I would imagine at least have had some interaction of a time or two, like, that's just gone too far. And you seen what you do when you bully, when you tease, and you saw what the Crittenton situation. And I just felt like that was going way too far. You could say he's the worst offender and everybody's going at him, like as he mentioned, cool with that. But like you start disrespecting the man's anatomy and all this and how he's built. It's like, all right, you're going too far. Now, if Karl Anthony Towns was to mess around and spiral into some crazy depression, like, here we go again, kind of a thing. So he took that one way too far because it wasn't just talking about how bad he was defensively or how horrible, maybe his athleticism is. He took it way too far. I was disappointed in that.
Crazy. I just told you. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Do you have a problem with Shaq and some of these athletes' podcasts? Of course, there's some who are put in some work and think about it and not just throw stuff out. But a lot of them are all over the place, no consistency. I mean, just embarrassing. Like seriously, even the Netflix people who released Shaq's list or whatever, like, is nobody minding the store? Seriously. Somebody should be there to say, Shaq, let me say this to you. I don't think that's the list you want to have. Do you know why?
Wow,
Because Kareem's not on the list. like seriously. That's why you have right, editors and producers. Rob G's our producer. You know how many times I've been in a meeting and they said, Rob, don't say that.
Are you sure you want to put Aaron Judge in your top 5 sluggers list?
Yeah, and I was
in
right.
2013.
Yes. They tried to talk me out of it, but I was right. That one I was right, finally. But you get my point. We want to hear from you.